Okay, all right, as you see everybody, I have my coffee because coffee's for closers at this point. So this is the time where we put all of the hard work we've done from the seminar into these last little parts of the deal that are gonna determine whether you walk away with a deal or you don't walk away with a deal. So let's go back to where we left off, which we'd circled the seminar pricing again, and we crossed off the home show and internet pricing. Now, what I like to tell people is when I'm doing that is, folks, you see here we have seminar pricing and home show internet pricing. There's a reason for that. When we do our seminars, we're doing our installations in bulk. The best example I can give you, it's like Sam's Club. When you go to Sam's Club, you buy in bulk, we install in bulk. Our costs are a lot less when we have 3 or 4 installations versus one here from a home show, or 1 hour this way, 1 hour this way. As you saw from the seminars, everybody's all pretty much in one area, so our costs of doing business are a lot less. Couple reasons with that: we charge you a discounted price and we don't charge you tax and installation. That comes out of our marketing budget. So just to go over this, now we start, the customers are back at the table, they have our attention, and we start taking our numbers down. So I always say to people, folks, when you do any kind of home improvement, do you normally pay for it or finance it? Well, you're gonna get some kind of reaction. They may say, well, it matters the price. Okay, I hear that all the time, it matters the price. Okay, so great. So now you know when you've asked that question that they've given you a buying answer. They're telling you that when they do a home improvement, depending on the price, they might finance it or they might pay cash for it. So this is where you've asked these questions, then you're getting buying answers. You don't want to ask anything at this point that's going to take you away. So either what you say is going to put you closer or further. So remember that no matter what you're saying at this point, when you start the money process, it's kind of like Charlie Brown talking in the background. They don't hear anything else. It's wah, wah, wah. They're only concerned because now you're getting into what's going to affect them the most, which is the money. So they're fixated on this paper, and I always do my calculations. Now, some guys like to I like to bundle it. By bundling it, they're not necessarily stopping on each one and looking at it. The best example I can give you, it's kind of like when a child falls down. If you react to the child, they're going to start crying, right? If you don't react, everything just keeps rolling smooth. That's the way it is. So when you stop at little parts and you write the total down of what the earth shield is, and then you look at them, you're now having to get many approvals instead of one. Now that in their mind, they have to process 3. So I like to bundle it when I'm giving the pricing. So I take the calculations, depending on the square foot. Now you want to always take the square foot and use a little higher amount than the square footage, because even though it's 1,200 feet, you may use more net material. Most likely you will. So let's say that we take 10%. Let's say we use 1,320 feet to start with. So we take 1,320 times our square foot price, okay? And what I do is I kind of jot these numbers down, and not so they're all individualized. So I'll do 3,154. We need 1 solar fan. And that's 5. So we're doing the earth cool. And so we have 9 plus 5. And I take a little longer to do this, and the reason being, I'm figuring out the best scenario for them and the best deal for the customer. So now I've totaled up my numbers, okay, at this point, and my total number comes to $4,850. Well, I write that number down. I haven't put anything on the final line yet, because we know if they have 1 solar fan, we have a tax credit of $1,050 we're going to use. So let's say we have tax credit $1,050, okay? 350 minus 1,050. And then this is where I'll start going into detail. So as you see, folks, I recommended what's going to make the best difference for you in the home. So we might basically what it comes out to, if we do the earth shield, the earth cool, and the solar ventilation system, and those are what I priced out for now. Okay, you're looking at $4,850 minus your $1,050 credit. You're looking at net cost of $3,800 net cost. That's after your credits. There's no additional fees on top of that. So you would, when the job was done, you would pay us the $4,850, and then you get $1,050 in credit. Now, is this something you would pay for? Use a credit card? What do you normally do? Oh, that kind of money, we'll have to finance it. So this is where you find out. You don't always find out if they're financing right away, but at this point, you should know what's going to happen. If you know going in and you feel that it's going to be a finance, and you should have a good judge of character and know if you feel like it's going to be a finance deal, then always make sure you're budgeting for that in your head, because you have additional fees that the companies charge to use those programs. So the longer you go, the more the fees are. So make sure you're you're calculating that in your head as you're doing this. Now, when you go in, you break it down, and now you said, once you say that and you give them the pricing, okay, you don't say a word. The first to talk loses. That's just the way it is. So you put the pen down and you stop. I see a lot of people that go in to start selling the products again. You don't want to do that because no matter what you say to them, they're fixated on those numbers. So when you go back in and you try to resell, you're not helping yourself at this point. They're sold. They've come to the seminar. They understand. You've done the walkthrough. If you've done your job properly, they see what the issues are in their home. They know they have issues going in. So at this point, this should be a finalization sheet or determining where the deal's going to go from here. Now, you're going to get rebuttals in some cases. Some cases are going to go very smooth. They're going to go right through and talk and say, honey, we're going to finance. What programs do you have available? Now, your finance sheet, when you use that, you don't always want to go to the 0% programs. You have standard rate programs through Interbank that cost the company a lot less more and put more money in your pocket when it comes to commission. So always know your finance sheets and your rates. So you don't have to give 0% away. Remember that. When you get over that 6 or 12-month time period, those fees really kick in when you use the free interest program. So people only know about 0 because you use it from the start. So always have that in your back pocket just in case you come to the point where you've got to close this deal. Because occasionally you're going to get people that say, you know what? I don't know how long I'm going to live. I hear that all the time. And I always repeat that back to them. You don't know how long you're going to live, because when you say something like that, they kind of realize how that was a terrible thing to say. None of us really know how long we're going to live. That's not a good rebuttal. We're on a fixed income. We hear that all the time. Great, folks. Actually, a lot of our people do this because they are on fixed incomes. The cost of power goes up tremendously. So if you're on a fixed income and your power goes up every 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years and it continues to go up, you don't make more money because the power bill goes up. You're paying it either way. It's not like you can pay the bill and say to the power company, give me some of that money back. It doesn't work that way. So you're also making your home more efficient and a healthier home as well at the same time. So what term do you think you would use on here? You go right back into the next question from there. Always go from the rebuttal back for another close again. If you fixate on that rebuttal, it's going to be an issue. So my answer is always great, okay? We're going to put the house for sale. Great. That's great. Actually, a lot of our people do this. You might have saw one of my articles, and it's in my sales book as well, to show that a lot of people do put their house for sale. They make their home efficient first because it's more marketable when the home is energy efficient. We're going to go through a series of rebuttals, but most cases, no matter what it is, it boils down to the money. Even the people who tell you it's not the money, it always boils down to the money. A lot of our guys will go down the ROI path. You don't want to go down the return on investment path. Let me explain why. A lot of people have a very, very low power bill, okay? They're not doing this. They're doing it to make their home more efficient, a healthier home, especially when it comes to earth barrier and other products. You don't want to fixate on that low bill. And when they do say, well, my bill's $70 a month, great. Actually, a lot of our people, we do business in a lot of areas where bills are lower than that. So it's not necessarily the bill. And this goes back again to the gas, the oil. They may not know that they're paying those extra charges. They may fill their propane twice a year. Those are additional charges, and this is not only going to help against the utility bill, it's also going to help with the propane, the natural gas, the oil inside the home. So you have to know going in, you've prepared yourself, you've walked in, and you should be gauging the customer. If you have sales ability, you would be gauging these customers all along and watching their body language. Normally you'll see who the decision maker is by sitting at the table. Make sure when you're pricing and you're talking to them, you're talking to both parties. Don't fixate on one. Very important to make them both feel like they're important during this process. Now, I'm one that likes to use the LED lighting. And there's a reason for me using the LED lighting, okay? If I have LED lights, okay, that's something the customer can touch and the customer can feel. A lot of times I'll go right in to say, okay, if you see that they're pondering on it and they're deciding, you know what, folks, what I'm going to do actually, I don't know this, but I'm going to give you a couple free LEDs, like 10 free LEDs, and there's a reason for that. It helps get those incandescent bulbs out. Which bulbs do you use the most? And for those of you who know me and have done a close with me, you see I do this, which bulbs use the most? Well, now you're already assuming you're going to do the deal, so a lot of times you never have to go back to revisit this again. because you've assumed it all along. Once you start doubting that there's a sale, it's going to prevent you from selling the deal. So it's real important, if you follow these programs and you follow this worksheet, it's going to help you. You know, a lot of people need a reason to buy. You know, they say, well, I need to think about it. Okay, well, you know, let me explain, folks. I've been extremely busy. One of the reasons why we're giving you seminar pricing, because I'm seeing a lot of people the next couple of days, and I'm pricing you in bulk. So you're getting an opportunity. So in the home show internet pricing, it's a lot bigger of a price difference than what you're paying on the seminar pricing. So, you know, you came to the event, right? You like the products, you see the benefit it'll do in your home. So really the only thing is just deciding, you know, to proceed or not to proceed. So at that point, you should have a good gauge for the customer, and we'll go into different trial closes. But if you follow this worksheet and you do and you react on it the way that I reacted on it, you're going to see a lot better close rate. Again, don't stop on areas. When there's a rebuttal and you stop on that rebuttal and you fixate or you show reaction to that, you're making that rebuttal valid. If you roll through that rebuttal immediately, like, great, the answer's great, you roll through it, you're going to keep that from coming an issue. Now you've taken care of rebuttal 1. Sometimes you go through 3 rebuttals before you actually close the deal. But as long as you handle them the same way and you listen to the customer, you should have been listening to their needs all along. So you should kind of know why they're doing this or what reason. You should know all that stuff, you know, and a good salesperson does. They're gauging that along the process as they go. So that's your worksheet, and we'll go into trial closes next.